Oh shit! I didn't realize I left that on. This is the second time I've had to record this because I realized it wasn't recording the first time. So as you can see, I was really busy editing things, and I've got a lot of stuff that I've been editing, and I'm going to give you an update on all of that. But first, I know, I have to address the elephant in the room because you can't avoid it. Obviously, you can see I've made some altercations to myself. I've lost 15 pounds. I know what they say. They say it takes about 6 weeks for you to notice, 8 for everyone else to notice. I've crushed those projections. Oh yeah, and also I did a little something else, but we're gonna pretend that wasn't state sanctioned. Anywho, I do have some updates hidden behind talking about some movies that I saw, because I feel like you can't just have an update video. You have to be talking about something else to entice people to want to see the updates. So I'm going to talk about a couple of movies that I saw, and it's called The Turning and The Innocents. And I want to talk about both of these films because I just saw them and they're on my mind. So I saw The Turning first. I saw that the other night, and I thought it was bad. And while I was watching it, I was doing research on it, because that's what you do when a movie is bad. You look it up to find out more information about it. And I discovered that it is based on an 1800s novella called The Turn of the Screw. And watching The Turning didn't really intrigue me to want to track down the novella, but I found out that there is a 1961 adaptation of the novella called The Innocents. And I decided to watch that this evening, and I can tell you that after seeing that, I'm far more interested in checking out the novella, because it is a very interesting tale. Basically what it is there is a woman who is hired to be a governess, which was a term I was unfamiliar with. I didn't know what a governess was. I mean, I'd heard the term live-in nanny or au pair, which I think is just French for live-in nanny. But I guess a governess is somebody who is in charge of children, I suppose, when there's no parental units nearby. I guess it's just like a guardian, essentially. And these two children are acting kind of weird, and the governess is like watching the two of them. There's a boy and a girl, a brother and a sister named Myles and Flora. And as the governess is there, she realizes that the kids are acting weird, and then she starts to suspect that there might be ghosts involved. And what I found really interesting about the two movies, aside from the fact that one was decent and the other was terrible, was that even though they were both based on the same source material, they couldn't be further apart. The children in the novel and in the 1961 film are a lot younger, except for Flora. Flora's age is about the same in both movies. In the 1961 version, Flora, the little girl, is about, I want to say maybe 8 or 9, and her brother Myles is maybe only a little bit older, between 9 and 11 himself. In the new movie, Flora's still around that same age, between 8 and 10, whereas Myles is Finn Wolfhard, which is an age. That is to say, he's a teenager. And in what I think is more unsettling and I think more effective in the original, in the 1961 film, is that because Myles is so young, he's in a boarding school. And at the start of the movie, he gets sent home. He's expelled from school. And in that film, in The Innocents, he doesn't really talk about it. He's kind of vague about it. But it's implied that it was because he was violent towards the other kids, and he scared them. And that's why he was expelled and sent home. And I think it's creepier when it's a little kid like that. Whereas in the new movie, they just come right out and say it. Whereas, like I said, they're kind of vague about it in the original. In the new one, they just come right out and say it. It's like, yeah, by the way, Myles has been expelled. We found him. He was strangling another kid. Sucks, right? Yeah, he gotta go home. I didn't understand that change. I feel like it would have been better if he were younger. And it is, I think, more effective when he's younger. Another major change comes at the ending of the film. And yeah, I'm going to spoil The Turning and also the 1961 version. And it is spoiling them both separately because their endings are different. And the new one is far and away worse, although I don't think the original film is that great either. In the new film, the ending is that the governess, in the new version, they change her name. Everybody else's name is the same. Like, all the names are the same. They have, like, a caretaker. The ghosts have the same names. The former caretaker's name is the same. Everybody is the same, with the exception of the governess. The governess in the original, she's called Miss Giddens, and in the new one, she is Katie. Just Katie. I think she has a last name too, but they don't call her Miss whatever. It's just Katie. Like even the character Mrs. Gross, who is the housekeeper. In the original film, she's like really friendly, like, oh dear, Mrs. Giddens, whatever shall we do? In the new one, she goes, you are vile, Katie. You are wicked. Which is an interesting contrast, of course. But anyway, the ending of the new film, Katie has discovered that there are, in fact, ghosts abound, and instead of calling Zach Baggins... Oh wait, no, she couldn't do that. This movie, The Turning, is set in 1991. That's right, it is set in 1991, and you know that because the opening scene of the movie is footage of the news reveal that Kurt Cobain killed himself. And nothing sets a tone for a movie quite like reminding us that Kurt Cobain is no longer with us. That's great. Thanks, The Turning. Anywho, she discovers that there are ghosts, and the ghosts are kind of... they're pseudo-possessing the children, like their presence is kind of angering the children and causing them to act out, act weird, act strange, what have you. And she's like, I'm gonna get these kids out of here. And you think she succeeds, because she gets the two of them in a car, and she's like, we're getting the fuck out of here. And they go. And the car drives away, but as the car disappears into the distance, we realize that Katie's actually reading her mail, and she's just like, I guess I didn't do anything. And then they're like, you're crazy. And then she gets institutionalized. The end. The 1961 version is absolutely bananas. So, same thing happens. Miss Giddens realizes there are ghosts, and it's screwing around with the kids, making them act out, what have you. She manages to kind of save the little girl, and she gets sent away with the housekeeper. They both get out, and they're safe. And she's like, Myles is the tough one, I need to save him, and the only way I do that is to get him to acknowledge that the ghost is there, and if he can acknowledge the ghost is there, the ghost doesn't have any power over him, and he will be free. So she confronts him, and she kind of chases him around a little bit, because he's like, no, it's not possible, you're lying. It's very 1961, it's very British, very polite, even when it's trying to be scary. Everybody just sounds so proper. And it's wonderful. Like, there's a part where Myles has Miss Giddens in a headlock, like this. Go with it. Just got her in a sleeper, like go to sleep. And, as she's in a headlock, she's just like, Myles, please do release me. And he's like, why though, Mrs. Giddens, dear? He calls her dear, that's nice. Why, dear? Why should I release you? And she goes, because this hurts, Myles, this hurts. And, it cuts to the ghost, and the ghost is just, chilling on top of, a wall. Like, they're in, a garden maze, and he's standing on top of the hedge, and he's just like, But here's the thing. Myles can't see him. And he's just like, where? Where, you devil, where? And, so then, it shows the ghost, he goes like this, and then, Myles falls over onto his little face, and, he's dead. He's dead. That's what happens. When I guess in the world of the innocents, when a ghost stops possessing you, or pseudo-possessing you, you die. And then the movie ends, she pulls up to his face, she's like, I'm so sorry. And then she gives him a big ol' plants one right on his lips. And I was watching that, and I was like, that's kind of odd. Different time, though. Maybe that was acceptable in 1961. I don't know. I thought it was weird. I thought it was unsettling. It's a horror movie. Hey, effect achieved. But that's all I got on those two movies. Now we segue into my big update part of this update video. And if you don't want to stick around and hear me talk about that, I don't begrudge you that. I can understand sometimes you just want to listen to somebody talk about movies, as opposed to hearing their dulcet tones talk about what else they got going on in their lives, and that's not always interesting. I don't blame you. But before you go, if you want to check out my social media links, they're going to be in the description. You can follow me on Twitter, get updates on all this stuff. If you don't want to hear me talk about it, you can just go there and also see some memes that I post, some shit posting. That's what I do. So if you want to check any of that kind of crap out, head over to the Twitter. Or if you don't want to do that, I would highly recommend you check out the Patreon. There's going to be some changes to it coming in the future as I start to add a lot of the stuff that I'm about to talk about. But like I said, Patreon donations go a long way to grow everything that I'm trying to build here. And I'm trying to build an empire. It's slow. We're building it brick by brick. But I need bricks. So if you want to support me so that I can buy bricks, I would appreciate it. And also, I'm also going to throw in links to these, my 2 books. There's about to be a 3rd one. There's another thing that's a sneak peek for the people who are sticking around waiting for me to shut up to the people who are leaving. Anyway, bye guys, I appreciate it. So anyway, March is going to be a busy month. It's going to be my hell month, in name only. I call it hell month just because there's just going to be a lot of stuff is going down. And I'm okay with that, because it's intentional. I got a lot that is coming out, so I'm going to run it down really quick here. The next thing you guys are going to see, what I was working on when I originally started recording this, is actually my next short film. It's a real short film. It's called Holiday Spirit. It's going to be out probably within the next 2 weeks or so. There's just like some ADR stuff that I got to do for it, and then that'll be done. Right after that, that's going to be the next major editing project that's next. The next major video you see is going to be Holiday Spirit. Right after that, probably maybe a week-long buffer, you'll see the second part of the Patreon request on Laika, where we discuss Kubo and the Two Strings and the Box Trolls. If you haven't already seen the first part of that video where I talked about Coraline and Paranorman, you should check it out, because I'm really proud of it. I think I did a good job on that, and I'm really excited to work on this next part as well. That's coming out second. That's it on the video side of things. In the middle of the month, I mentioned my 2 books. My 3rd novel is going to be coming out in mid-March. I am so stoked about it. It's called The Twin Universe, Book 1, The Demon Lord of Beacon City. It's been completely drafted numerous times. I'm happy with where it's at. I don't like to toot my own horn and say that whatever I've done the most recently is the best thing I've done. But I'm pretty happy with it. It'd be tough for me to not call it that. I'm happy with the characters. I'm happy with the world I've created. I've got more ideas to do future things, which is why I called this one Book 1. So I'm super excited about it. I'm really excited for people to read it. I'm also really excited to see if shitty people that I know aren't gonna like it for some of the choices that I've made for some of the characters. I guess I'll just say this right now. If you got a problem with non-binary people, you can fuck off. I don't want you to read it. Because there's not just one NB character, there are 2 of them. And yeah, I ain't changing it. So that's going to be there. If you don't like it, fuck you. If you do like it, hell yeah. I got an audio drama series that I've been working on for the last couple of months. It's going to be coming out. I'm really excited about it. It's an investigative detective series where I've come up with multiple cases, and the first case is completely done, and it comprises about 11 episodes of about maybe 6 to 7 minutes apiece for each episode. It's an audio drama. I'm really excited for it. It's called The Investigations of David DeRoe, and it's going to be coming out hopefully the end of this month, if not the beginning of next. But I still wanted to announce it now because I'm really excited about it. It's been a project that I've been working on, again, really hard, along with everything else. I'm working very hard. So that's about all I got. I've already talked about the social media links. If you refer back to a few minutes ago, and I already discussed that, if you've forgotten, the links will be in the description to everything. So, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get back to work because I still got a lot of work to do. So, thank you if you've watched, and if you decide to become a patron, thank you in advance. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, every little bit is helping. I got a lot of plans for this year. This year is going to be a pretty intense year. I got a lot of projects that I'm planning to do, a lot of videos, a lot of writing stuff. It's going to be a pretty intense year, and I hope everybody else is as excited for it as I am, because there's some potentially good things in the works for this year, and potentially leading into next year as well. So I got a lot of goals I'm working toward, and I hope you're along for the ride. So thank you. Bon voyage. Moi, that's French. If you like my new haircut, leave a like. And with that, I say good night.